In the summer of 1587, more than 100 English settlers landed on Roanoke Island, off the coast of what is now North Carolina. Among them were men, women, and even children, a rare sight for colonial expeditions, which were usually dominated by soldiers and adventurers. These were families, dreamers, and hopeful pioneers. They called themselves the Roanoke Colony, and their mission was clear: to establish England's first permanent settlement in the New World. At first, life was hard but manageable. They built houses, planted crops, and began forging a community. Their governor, John White, tried to establish peace with nearby native tribes. His own daughter gave birth to Virginia Dare, the first English child born on American soil. For a brief moment, Roanoke seemed destined for success. But food supplies ran low, and relations with local tribes grew tense. Desperate, John White sailed back to England for help, promising to return quickly with reinforcements. He left behind his family, including his newborn granddaughter. But England was at war with Spain, and ships were in short supply. White was delayed, not for weeks, not for months, but for 3 long years. When he finally returned to Roanoke in 1590, the colony was silent. Over 100 men, women, and children were gone. Houses stood empty, stripped of belongings. No bodies, no signs of battle, no graves. The only clue was a single word carved into a wooden post: CROATOAN. What happened to the lost colony? Some believe the settlers were absorbed into friendly native tribes. There were later reports of native villages with English-looking children speaking fragments of English words. Others suspect the colonists were killed by hostile tribes, or that starvation forced them to scatter. But none of these theories explain why there were no bones, no evidence, no final trace. And here's the chilling thought. What if the word CROATOAN wasn't a clue, but a warning? The CROATOAN were a native tribe living on nearby Hatteras Island. Did the colonists move there willingly, or were they taken, enslaved, sacrificed, or something even darker? In fact, the word CROATOAN has appeared in other American mysteries. In the 19th century, author Edgar Allan Poe supposedly muttered the word CROATOAN on his deathbed. Before dying under strange circumstances, years later, it was found carved into the bedpost where stage magician Harry Houdini died. Coincidence, or a curse tied to the word itself? The mystery deepens when we consider England's politics. The Roanoke colony wasn't just an experiment, it was a foothold in the New World. Failure meant shame for England and victory for Spain. Some historians believe John White deliberately kept quiet, covering up the colony's fate to protect England's reputation. But then, there are theories far stranger. Some suggest the colonists fell victim to disease unknown to Europeans, an illness that wiped them out so thoroughly that even their bodies decomposed unnaturally fast. Others point to supernatural explanations, curses, spirits of the land, or even alien abduction theories that swirl in modern folklore. And here comes the rehook. What if the lost colony didn't fail at all? What if they survived, thrived, and simply vanished into history, becoming part of something we no longer recognize? Over the centuries, explorers, archaeologists, and scientists have searched Roanoke for answers. In the early 20th century, a series of carved stones were discovered across North Carolina and Georgia, allegedly written by Eleanor Dare, John White's daughter. These stones claimed the colonists were attacked, that most were killed, and that only a handful survived. But many experts believe the stones were forgeries, designed to trick people for money and fame. In 1998, DNA projects began, testing descendants of native tribes in the region to see if traces of European bloodline from the 1500s still remain. Some results suggested possible connections, but nothing definitive. Even modern technology hasn't solved the mystery. The truth is, the lost colony of Roanoke remains exactly that: lost. No graves, no ruins, no survivors. Just a single word carved into wood, and a silence that has lasted for more than 4 centuries. So here's the final rehook. Imagine standing on Roanoke Island today, the wind blowing through the trees, the sea crashing against the shore, knowing that over 100 men, women, and children once lived, laughed, and dreamed there, and then disappeared without a trace. The lost colony remains America's first great unsolved mystery, a haunting reminder that history doesn't always give us answers, only questions. So, what do you think? Did the settlers join the CROATOAN? Were they slaughtered in secret? Or did something far stranger erase them from history forever?